All right, it's 7 o'clock. We'll begin our meeting or resume our meeting. We just came out of closed session. If someone could read the certification.
Whereas the Madison County School Board has convened a closed meeting on this date pursuant to an affirmative recorded vote and in accordance with the provisions of the Virginia Freedom of Information Act, and whereas Section 2.2-3712 of the Code of Virginia requires a certification by this school board that such closed meeting was conducted in conformity with Virginia law. Therefore, be it resolved that the Madison County School Board hereby certifies that, to the best of each member's knowledge, one, only public business matters lawfully exempted from open meeting requirements by Virginia law were discussed in the closed meeting to which this certification applies, and only such public business matters as were identified in the motion convening the closed meeting were heard, discussed, or considered.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? No. And then if you could poll the board.
Mr. Martz?
I certify.
Mr. Sheets?
I certify.
Mr. Wingate?
I certify.
Ms. Wood?
I certify.
Mrs. Collier?
I certify.
Great. If you could join us in the pledge in a moment of silence. Thank you. All right, tonight is our reorganization meeting. That's why I've been speaking thus far. But at this time, we are going to open the floor for nominations for the chairman of the Madison County School Board for 2024. Do I hear a nomination?
I have a nomination. I'd like to nominate Mrs. Collier to be the chairwoman.
I second.
All right, Nita Collier has been nominated to serve as school board chairman. Are there any, or chairperson? Are there any further nominations?
Do we do them all at once or just for?
Just for chairperson. If there are no further nominations, I hereby declare the nominations closed. The vote will now be taken. Those in favor for Nita Collier for chairman of the Madison County School Board for 2024, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no. The ayes have it, 5-0. And Nita Collier is elected chairman of the board for 2024. And it's all yours now.
Thanks, Anna. All right, so our next item is vice chair. The floor is open for nominations for vice chairman of the Madison County School Board for 2024. Do I hear a nomination for vice chair?
I nominate Chris Wingate to serve as school board vice chairman.
Chris Wingate has been nominated to serve as school board vice chairman. Are there any further nominations? If no further nominations, I hereby declare the nominations closed. The vote will now be taken. Those in favor of Chris Wingate for vice chairman of the Madison County School Board for 2024, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed, say no. And the ayes have it. Congratulations. Mr. Wingate is the vice chairman of Madison County School Board. Right. The next agenda item is to elect a representative to the Piedmont Regional Education Program. Anybody have any questions about what the Piedmont Regional Education Program is?
Who did that last year?
Me. And you have to run the meetings and at prep as well, if I'm elected as we have to do the same thing up there as we do here. So it's really another school board.
Did you enjoy that?
I did.
Okay.
I will do that if you guys want me to represent us at prep. Okay, hold on, I gotta read it the way it makes me read it, yes. All right, so representative to the Piedmont Regional Education Program, the floor is open for nominations for representative to the prep board of the Madison County School Board for 2024. Do I hear a nomination?
I nominate Nita Collier.
Nita Collier has been nominated to serve as a representative to the prep board. Are there any further nominations? If there are no further nominations, I hereby declare the nominations closed. The vote will now be taken. Those in favor of Nita Collier for representative to the prep board of the Madison County School Board for 2024, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed, say no. The ayes have it. Thank you all. All right, the next agenda item is the representative to the Blue Ridge Virtual Governors School Board, the BRVGS Board. I'm unclear. I think it was Karen Allen. Oh, thank you. I didn't scroll far enough. Thank you. I'm sorry. We do need an alternate to prep just in case I can't fulfill my duty. So I will open the floor. The floor is now open for nominations to alternate representative to prep for the Madison County School Board for 2024.
Anybody interested in that? Interested or not interested at all?
So the meetings happen in Charlottesville the majority of the time, and they are on Wednesday mornings. Wednesday mornings from 9 to whenever it ends. It usually over by 11. I'm usually there.
Because you're in Charlottesville.
Because I'm in Charlottesville most of the time. But it's rare that I'm not.
I have a very hard time making that, and I'm willing to do it, but I have a hard time making it.
Same, I wouldn't have an issue doing it
Yeah.
either, just classroom.
I mean, I teach a class on Wednesday mornings, but if it's occasional, I can cancel it and go up there instead.
It doesn't happen I can't remember that I missed one this year, did I? Did I miss one?
Keep that record, and
Okay.
we're good.
Okay. I can't remember me ever missing one, but if I do, I'll let you know. I mean, literally, it's a text. I can't make the board meeting. Okay. I don't know where I was, so I'm just going to read it again. Do I hear a nomination for an alternate representative to the prep board for the Madison County School Board for 2024?
I nominate Ms. Wood to be the alternate for prep.
Sue Wood has been nominated to serve as the alternate to prep. Are there any further nominations? If there are no further nominations, I hereby declare the nominations closed. The vote will now be taken. Those in favor of Sue Wood for the alternate representative to prep of the Madison County School Board for 2024, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it. Sue Wood is elected as the alternate representative to the prep board. Thank you for being willing. Okay, the next representative is to the Blue Ridge Virtual Governors School Board. I think Ms. Allen did this before. And I don't know where those meetings are held. Do you? They're at Zion's Crossroads.
Do you have any interest, Mr. Wingate?
You can do it how many times?
I will do it.
Me too. Same thing, things the same.
I wouldn't have wouldn't say I have a strong yearning, but I would definitely take the post on that.
I'm the same way. I'm not do it. I'm not yearning to do it. I guess trying to kind of spread things
So-
out. Spread things out.
Yeah, we have,
Evenly.
if you look on that list on the left-hand side, we have Blue Ridge Virtual Governor School, capital improvement, that happens here in Madison. Representative to the Board of Supervisors, those meetings are on Tuesday afternoons, is that right? Tuesday afternoons,
Yeah, maybe so. Okay.
okay. All right,
Yeah.
so let me go through this
I'm
script.
sorry.
That's all right. The floor is open for nominations for the board's representative to the BRVGS Board for 2024.
I'll nominate Mr. Greg Martz.
Mr. Greg Martz has been nominated to serve as the board's representative to the BRVGS Board. Are there any further nominations? If there are no further nominations, I hereby declare the nominations closed. The vote will now be taken. Those in favor of Greg Martz as the board's representative to the Blue Ridge Virtual Governor School Board for 2023, please say aye. Aye. Any noes? Congratulations. You are the board's representative for the Blue Ridge Virtual Governor School for 2024. Now, we need to elect an alternate representative to that board as well.
I'm happy to do it if you want me to.
Y'all want to share it? Okay. The floor is now open for nominations for the board's alternate representative to the Blue Ridge Virtual Governor School Board for 2024. Do I hear a nomination?
I nominate Chris Wingate as the alternate.
Chris Wingate has been nominated to serve as the board's alternate representative to the Blue Ridge Virtual Governor School Board. Are there any further nominations? If there are no further nominations, I hereby declare the nominations closed. The vote will now be taken. Those in favor of Chris Wingate as the board's alternate representative to the Blue Ridge Virtual Governor School Board for 2024, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No. Congratulations. You are now elected as the board's alternate representative to the Blue Ridge Virtual Governor School for 2024. Okay. We have two representatives that need to attend the Capital Improvement Committee and one alternate. Is that how I read that? So is it three? Is it three people or two people?
We didn't have two. Yeah, it was just a primary and alternate.
Two people? Okay. So let's go with the top script. The floor is open for nominations for the board's representative to the CIP committee for 2024. Do I hear two nominations?
I
We can
nominate
do them at the same time.
I nominate Charlie Sheeds for doing an exceptional job last year.
Okay, we have Charlie Sheets. Who else would like to sit on the CIP board? How often are those meetings, Mr. Sheets? Every other month? And they're on at 5 o'clock.
You know, it was only Karen and myself,
I don't know anything about CIP.
and she would listen on some, but some she couldn't make, so, I mean, I'm not sure why that requires two, but.
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy to be the second one, especially if it's at 5 o'clock in the afternoon. But we also need a representative to the board of supervisors. You can do that? Okay. Are we spreading it evenly? I'm so worried about the script that I'm not paying attention to who's doing what, but.
So far, so good.
Okay. I'm happy to take it if you want me to, or you want it.
I nominate Nita Collier.
All right, Nita Collier and Charlie Sheeds have been nominated to serve as the board's representative to the CIP committee for 2024. Are there any further nominations? If there are no further nominations, I hereby declare the nominations closed. The vote will now be taken. Those in favor of Nita Collier and Charlie Sheeds as the board's representatives to the CIP committee for 2024, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? No. Congratulations, Charlie and Nita. You have been elected as the board's representatives to the Capital Improvement Plan Committee for 2024. The same thing with the Board of Supervisors. So this is 2 representatives for the Board of Supervisors. And those meetings start on they're every Tuesday or once a month? Second Tuesday at 4 o'clock and the 4th Tuesday at 6 o'clock. And we need 2 representatives. And I'm sorry, y'all, 4-H is Tuesday. Can't take any more on Tuesday.
I'm happy to do it. It was Karen, Karen was the primary, I was the alternate.
Yeah.
I'm happy to do the primary. I'm happy to do it. I mean, Karen was the primary, I was alternate. I'm happy to do the primary. If you see somebody interested in doing the alternate.
I can't do Tuesday night.
It's just one person, it's just be a backup, I think.
If it's an alternate, I'm in, I'll do it. It's just some Tuesdays, I'm still at school, 4 o'clock coaching, but just luxury of being able to do that.
Okay. Do I hear a nomination for 2 representatives to the Board of Supervisors?
I nominate Chris Wingate, Greg Martz.
Chris Wingate and Greg Martz have been nominated to serve as the board's representatives to the Board of Supervisors for 2024. Are there any further nominations? If there are no further nominations, I hereby declare the nominations closed. The vote will now be taken. Those in favor of Chris Wingate and Greg Martz as the board's representatives to the Board of Supervisors for 2024, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed, say no. Congratulations, you have been elected as the board's representatives to the Board of Supervisors for 2024. Okay, the next one is the delegate and the alternate voting delegate for the November 2024 annual VSBA conference. Historically, we don't have to do this, but historically, this has been the chairman and the vice chairman who represents the Madison County School Board at the Virginia School Boards Association's meeting, convention, is that what it's called? Yeah. And they have a formal board meeting there. I went last year. It was about 2 hours. And they voted on like 3 different things.
And I think you're right, I think the chair is good to be the primary for it.
Okay.
So can I nominate you to be the chair, to be the primary VSBA representative?
As the delegate, yes. And then we need an alternate delegate. It doesn't. It's just historically.
I'm happy having you do it.
Okay. So I need a nomination for her.
I nominate Nita Collier to be the primary and Ms. Liz Wood to be the alternate.
Okay. So Nita Collier has been nominated as the delegate and Sue Wood as the alternate delegate to serve as the voting delegates for the 2024 VSBA Annual Conference in November. Are there any further nominations? If there are no further nominations, I hereby declare the nominations closed. The vote will now be taken. Those in favor of Nita Collier as the delegate and Sue Wood as the alternate voting delegate for the 2024 VSBA Annual Conference in November, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed, say no. Congratulations. Nita Collier and Sue Wood are elected as the delegate and the alternate voting delegates for the 2024 VSBA Annual Conference. We're almost done, y'all. Sorry. Feel like I'm reading a novel publicly or something. Okay, the next one is Clerk of the Board. I assume that we are staying, Ms. Patterson will be the Clerk of the Board.
Right, and I need to say that she's sorry she can't be here this evening. Her mother passed away this week, so she's with her family in Front Royal.
Okay. The floor is open for nominations for the Clerk of the Board of the Madison County School Board for 2024. Do I hear a nomination?
Nominate Liz Patterson.
Liz Patterson has been nominated to serve as the Clerk of the Madison County School Board. Are there any further nominations? There are no further nominations. I hereby declare the nominations closed. The vote will now be taken. Those in favor of Liz Patterson for Clerk of the Madison County School Board for 2024 may please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? No? Congratulations, Liz Patterson is elected to the Madison, as Clerk of the Board to the Madison County School Board. Deputy Clerk, huh? Hey, we just appoint you. Oh, goodness. All right, Deputy Clerk of the Board currently is, or historically, I guess, is Ms. Tina Crop. I assume we're keeping that the same way unless you guys have anything else. All right, the floor is open for nominations for Deputy Clerk of the Board of the Madison County School Board for 2024. Do I hear a nomination?
I nominate Tina Crop.
Tina Crop has been nominated to serve as Deputy Clerk of the School Board, of the Madison County School Board. Are there any further nominations? If there are no further nominations, I hereby declare the nominations closed. The vote will now be taken. Those in favor of Tina Crop for Deputy Clerk of the School Board of the Madison County School Board for 2024, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed, no? Congratulations, Tina Crop. You are now elected as the Deputy Clerk of the Madison County School Board.
You thought you were done.
Yeehaw. One more, but I
Not
think
one
we
more. You got a
can,
whole bunch.
well, I think we can do these all in one,
Oh.
in one vote. We don't have to do them separately. Thank goodness. Okay, so we have, there's boards that we just got elected to, and then there's just board representatives on advisory committees. So the advisory committees are listed below, and who served in those positions in 2023. So you'll see Career and Tech Ed Advisory Committee. 2023's representatives were Charlie Sheeds and alternate Chris Wingate. Family Life Advisory Committee was Greg Martz and Karen Allen as the alternate. Gifted and Talented Advisory Committee was Karen Allen and Chris Wingate as alternate. Special Ed Advisory Committee was Nita Collier and Charlie Sheeds as alternate. Diversity, Opportunity, and Inclusion Task Force was Karen Allen and Nita Collier as alternate. Parent Community Partnerships and Citizenship Committee was Chris Wingate and Greg Martz as alternate. So, do we have to do these in each, those individual votes, or can we do them all? We can do them all. I'm gonna have to write this down, because I'm not gonna remember. No, I'm gonna write it down, it's fine, and we'll just have one vote. Okay, and I don't have to do the, I don't have to do the that whole script thing. We just say, okay, all right. So who's interested in career and tech ed? Charlie would like to stay. And who would,
I'm happy to stay unless someone has a big interest in it.
anybody else want to be an alternate to CTE? Okay. We will leave that as it is then. And family life. Greg will stay. Now Karen was on that.
I can be an alternate. I was on it as a parent.
Is that okay? So you went to it anyway? Okay, so. Family life, gifted and talented. Okay, so Sue will do gifted and talented. Chris, you are alternate, is that
I can stay alternate.
okay? Okay. Special ed. I'm happy to do that. So me and you, all right, Nita and Charlie. Diversity, opportunity. The other one, inclusion task force. Karen was the primary and I was the alternate.
Are you okay with being the primary or not? Is everybody here a primary for something? It'd be nice if everybody kind of spread it out.
So far.
Charlie is, Greg is.
Yeah, I'll be, well, I'm primary
You
for
are already,
SPED.
yeah, you are for that.
Yeah.
I am for citizenship and committee.
1, 2, 3, 4. Well, there's gonna be 6, so one person has to do 2.
Yeah.
I'll be primary, it's fine. I usually go unless I'm sick or somebody's sick. Who would like to be alternate since I was alternate? They're on Thursday evenings. Okay. And then parent-community partnership.
Happy to keep on doing it.
Just leave that one the way it is. Okey doke. All right. So, do y'all want me to read all that and then somebody just make the motion as approved? Is that good? Okay, we will approve Charlie Sheets and Chris Wingate as the alternate for Career and Tech Ed Advisory Committee for 2024. Greg Martz and Sue Wood as the alternate for Family Life Advisory Committee for 2024. Sue Wood and Chris Wingate as alternate for the Gifted and Talented Advisory Committee for 2024. Nita Collier and Charlie Sheeds as alternate for the Special Education Advisory Committee for 2024. Nita Collier and Sue Wood for the Diversity, Opportunity, and Inclusion Task Force for 2024. And Chris Wingate and Greg Martz as the alternate for the Parent, Community Partnerships, and Citizenship Committee for 2024. So I'll need somebody to motion.
So I make a motion to approve what Ms. Collar just read.
Thank you.
I second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed, no. We have representatives to all the committees. Thank you. Sorry, y'all, we're done. Whew, that was a long one. All right. Just a couple more things and we'll get into the fun part. The next agenda item is to approve the personnel matters and addendum for the January 11th, 2024 Board, Madison County School Board to include appointments, substitute appointments, resignations, transfers, and coaching stipends as presented.
I'll make a motion to approve.
We have a motion. We need a second.
Seconded.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed, no. Motion carries. The next agenda item is the approval of the January 11th, 2024 consent agenda as presented. That includes claims for operating expenses, claims for food services, claims for CIP, claims for supplemental appropriation expenses, and claims for the expenditure report.
I'll make a motion that we approve the January 11th, 2024 consent agenda as presented.
We have a motion, we need a second.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed, no. Motion carries. All right, now we get to the fun part. Yay! Senior of the Month. The Senior of the Month program showcases a graduating senior, one each month during the school year, and recognizes them for their academics, extracurricular activities, and their service to others. Each Senior of the Month will be recognized monthly at the Madison County School Board with a presentation of a certificate from the school board. At the end of the school year, we will once again honor the seniors of the month, and then a senior will in turn, recognize the educator that has had the greatest influence on their education while in Madison County Public Schools. And I think Ms. Wyndham is going to bring us the Senior of the Month.
I came up before being asked, sorry.
You're fine.
I'm going to ask Bo Crothamel to come up here with me, please. You have to stand here while I read about you. Okay. Bo Crothamel was selected as a Senior of the Month due to his exceptional performance in his CTE courses, earning numerous CTE certifications at MCHS throughout his high school career. Bo holds multiple certifications, including OnShape Certified Associate, WISE Financial Literacy, Microsoft Suite certifications in Excel, Word, PowerPoint, and CoreCraft Introductory Craft Skills for the National Construction Career Test. He also is eager to pursue his AutoCAD certification, and we are currently obtaining those certification tests for him to take. Apart from his outstanding academic performance, Bo is also an active athlete, participating in golf and soccer. Additionally, he is employed part-time and works as an intern with TC2 Design, receiving CTE work-based learning credit for this internship. Bo's commitment to community service is also notable, helping with numerous mission projects such as Madison Day with construction projects, volunteering at Mesa, and assisting the church worship team with technology and sound. In the summer of 2023, Bo was part of a mission trip to the Dominican Republic where he helped build shelves for local families. Bo's ability to be a servant leader at such a young age is admirable to me, and he shows above average respect towards his peers and teachers. Most recently, Bo and a classmate demonstrated their creativity and design skills for not just construction, but for fashion as well, when they dressed as mountaineers in the most appropriate mascot attire and entered into a game. Bo is a regular supporter of all MCHS events and activities, and he is an asset to not only the student section, but to our school every day as well. Bo, thank you for being a model student for our core values. Your dedication to your coursework and your careful selection of your classes will definitely place you above the rest as you pursue engineering at Liberty University next year. Thank you. Wait, I don't want my pencil in it. Look at your sister. And right here. I'm proud of you. I have to say this because it's just funny. So Catherine and I, before we came up here, someone was like, have you seen Bo's beard or whatever? I was like, yeah, I need to preface, this is student of the month, not employee of the month, because he has like this full beard. He always gets compliments on it throughout the day, but he's awesome and we're gonna miss him a lot. So thank you, Bo.
And that employee is being presented by Mr. Coiner tonight. Our employee comes from the primary school.
It's my pleasure tonight to honor Kelsey DeJarnett as the NCPS Employee of the Month for January 2024. Kelsey provides support for all of our first grade teachers, but also offers invaluable guidance and direction for our first grade students. Kelsey's support, however, has not been limited to first grade exclusively, as she has been asked many times to cover unexpected areas of need. She's filled in as a classroom teacher, PE teacher, art teacher, technology teacher, and anywhere else that her services were needed. As you might imagine, changing one's schedule and responsibilities at a moment's notice is quite disruptive and at times somewhat intimidating. But to her credit, Kelsey performed those duties at the highest level without once complaining or even showing any sign of discontent. We're absolutely blessed to have her as a part of our MPS family, and we're so appreciative of her diligence and expertise. Kelsey, when not assigned to unexpected duties, worked side by side with Mrs. Kim Dotson in her first grade classroom. Mrs. Dotson had the following to say about Kelsey. There isn't enough time in the day to explain just how invaluable and irreplaceable Kelsey DeJarnett is. From the moment she arrives to school in the morning until the minute she leaves, Kelsey invests her time and energy into making sure all children's needs are met. I couldn't imagine having anyone else by my side, loving my students and helping them grow. Kelsey, you are a true light to our MPS children and my favorite resident science nerd. You are deeply loved. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for everything you do. I also want to say thank you, Kelsey, for all you do to make MPS a great school and for your dedication to ensuring the very best for our children. Congratulations on your well-deserved recognition. We do have our first grade team with us here tonight, and they're going to share with you a little bit about an activity that they put together as we were closing in on the holidays. As you might imagine, our primary students were a little bit excited at this time, so this was just a great activity to sort of harness that excitement and still engage students in the curriculum. So we'll turn it over to the teachers.
How is everyone? Good, good. Thanks for having us. This was a super fun project for our whole first grade pod to enjoy. We started off, if you want to go to the first slide, we really take our SOLs for Virginia and really use this project to broaden them and to show the kids and for them to understand just how diverse we are as a state. And it really, we do bring a lot of culture, a lot of traditions into our school. We're not all the same. So we really did tie in a lot of different SOLs through, of course, diversity and holidays, using Google Earth and technology to learn about geography and cardinal directions and oceans and continents, and for them to really get insight into just how big our world is. It's not just Madison County. It's a huge collection of tons of people. And so we get to get on our make-believe plane with their suitcases. They get to travel and have their in-flight snacks and all kinds of things. And they learn about insecurity and, you know, they just had the best time getting their passport and their plane ticket and just flying all across the world just from their classroom. There was a craft that went along with each country. We really tried to hit on the entire globe, not just sticking to one particular continent. And we'll all talk about the countries that we focused on for our particular classroom. You want to go to the next slide. This was displayed outside Ms. Goring's classroom. just so the kids could really see in one small place as we traveled to and from the playground. Oh, we're talking about Germany today. This is where Germany is. It's in Europe. Oh, look, we're in Italy. That's, just looking at their cardinal directions and figuring out where they are in the world. And they were just so excited every day to go somewhere new. Go to the next one. Oh, and look, there's the cutest little girl in first grade. It's my Missy. And so those are all the crafts that we created. Prior to the market, they traveled, learning about the different customs using Google Earth, and they added all of the crafts to their suitcases for that country, and they were able to take it home, talk to their grown-up about where they went that day, and they were just mesmerized that it's not just about what we do here in Madison, Virginia. It's so different no matter where you go. So I think the first country is on the next slide. Oh, and that's the activity sheet that they traveled with around each room. So they got to identify the country they were in. Each classroom had a food from that country. And so we'll all talk about that. So they got to decide if they liked it, if it was okay. They had the option not to try it, but they were all so adventurous to try something new from each country. It was incredible. And they were very honest. They were like, yeah, maybe not so much, not my favorite thing, but they tried it, which is wonderful. And then they got to decide which was their favorite out of all 5. Right, and there's England.
That would be me. So my name is Ms. Brockman, and I chose England for my husband's name, his Brockman of Kent. So we did wassail, which is like a apple cider, a little better though, a little more kick to it. The kids loved it, actually ran out of it, had kids coming back for more. I had to turn them down because I didn't have any more. So wassail. So tradition, Victorian England, they started greeting cards in Victorian England, and they would, people would go around singing Christmas carols or just carols of the time, and they would be welcomed into homes in villages and be offered the warm drink of wassail. So if you haven't made any or tried any, you should try it. It's really good. So.
Hi, I'm Miss Farmer. In our classroom, we went to Greece. She picked it from her husband's name. I just went on a trip to Greece, so it's stuck in my head, per usual. We made baklava for our room, which is a really sweet dessert with pastry and nuts and cinnamon, and covered in a syrup and soaked overnight. So it's very healthy to hand out to the children. I didn't give them a sugar rush at all. And there, instead of Christmas trees, because they're an island, they decorated their sailboats. We have that up around the classrooms. We talk about that.
I'm Ms. Klein, and I did Mexico. And one thing that you noticed if you've noticed in all the slides so far, outside our doors, we did decorate outside the classroom before the market to make it look kind of like a Christmas market, so that and the kids didn't travel, just to add, they didn't travel around by classes. They actually got to just go. And I know that some of you were there, and it was nice that they just got to go with some of their friends, like, oh, let's go to Mexico and try it. And then they could just roam back and forth. It wasn't like they had to go to Mexico first and then to Greece. They just got to walk around like a real market. So I did Mexico, and of course we made quesadillas. And this was a picture, and like the other classes, they did get to make it beforehand too, a lot of the prep work for the food. So my class made all the quesadillas. They were definitely handmade by the children. I think the quesadillas definitely were the favorite. A lot of kids coming back for more. We made every quesadilla that we had supplies for, so they loved them. And before that, when we were traveling prior, like the weeks before, learning about the traditions in Mexico, we learned about the tradition of the poinsettia, and that was a big thing for them to learn about that and the different traditions in Mexico, different from the Christmas tree and things that they're used to. So that was Mexico.
So unlike everybody else, I cheated. We did not make the Spätzle by hand. I called a super, super loyal friend at the Bavarian Chef and just took the crock pot and he filled it like a Christmas miracle full of Spätzle. But there's Grace stirring it to her heart's content, making sure it's completely warm. And Ty, I did bring dirndls for them to try on. The girls loved it. Mr. Corner dropped the ball. He did not supply us with the lederhosen, so hoping next year we'll have a lederhosen for these young gentlemen to try on. But they loved it. So we learned about Edelweiss flowers, so we have that decorating the outside of our classroom. Miss DeJarnett constructed our very ornamental door. I mean, it was a labor of love. Lots of love and joy went into constructing that and suspending it from the ceiling. We have gingerbread men hung up from the ceiling because gingerbread is a common dessert in Germany. And I just chose Germany because I had the resources. And again, it was working smarter, not harder. And it's fun. It's a lot of fun. And they loved the Spätzle. They were kind of leery at first, but they're like, actually, it's pretty good. But look at those beautiful faces just smiling, having the best last day before winter break. So it was wonderful. So yeah, that's Germany.
Hi, I'm Stephanie Goring. My class, we got ready for Italy, and just like Ms. Klein said, every class learned about every country that we were visiting, but then my class decorated our room and we prepared food from Italy. So in Italy, they have a La Befana. It's an old witch that flies around on a broom and visits children. So in our room, and there's a couple suspended from the wall, that's what we made for one of our crafts, and we made some little brooms. And then the students helped make the dough for our pizzelles, and that's what they look like. They're kind of a dry, flat cookie. And I wasn't sure if the students would like them. There's not a lot of flavor in them, but a lot of them did, and some would kind of keep sneaking up back to the table and taking another one and circling back around. And yeah, I picked Italy because I've been lucky enough, I got to spend a Christmas there, so I was able to feel like I could really teach that to my class, and I had a stuffed La Befana, so they got a kick out of seeing that, I think. But yeah, they loved helping make the food and then going around and tasting everything. And I think we want to thank also, the supplies were provided, I don't know if that was Mr. Coiner, MPS, or the school board, but whoever helped pay for that, thank you. So we didn't have to buy the ingredients ourselves, so, all right. And then I think there's one more slide.
The last slide. And like we said, that was 5 classrooms they got to visit, but prior to that, we traveled through at least 10, 15 different countries that we learned different traditions. And this was just a sample of some of the books that we read over that course of that time during our whole unit of study. So the kids loved it. It was just a great thing to just open their eyes and see. And it was cool to hear some of the kids that do live in Madison that actually knew about these traditions and that do celebrate them here. And it was cool for them to see that people can live here and we can live in a diverse community and have different beliefs on things. So it was cool. They loved it. And we already have ideas for next year to make it even better. And so we definitely want to continue it. So it was just one of those random things, thanks to Stephanie Goring for going one year for Christmas, that whole holiday market. Like she just liked that idea. And she's like, let's just do our own holiday market. So, thank you.
Thank you for coming and all that you do.
Thank you.
That's awesome. I want to be invited to the holiday market next year. Ladies, can you guys invite us next year to the holiday market? Thank you. We would like to know about it.
Well, and when the food is out, especially.
Yeah, we got to go.
Mr. Pointer wanted us to actually bring samples today and remake
That would have been great.
Wasn't quite feasible to do, but next year we will make sure that you're all invited and you can come.
Well, the Bavarian Chef's not far. It wouldn't have been hard to get Spätzle. Just saying. I know.
All right, the next part of our agenda is public comment. We welcome anyone to come address the board. During public comment, we ask that you state your name and the area of the county that you live in. You will have 3 minutes. There's a timer up here so you can pace yourself. And if anybody would like to address us, please come to the podium.
Good evening. My name is Russell Biber. I'm pastor here in Madison, and I live in Brightwood. And Mrs. Collier, please do not apologize for all the voting that took place earlier. It lets the rest of us know that you don't just show up once a month and that's it. It does give an appreciation for all that you do for our schools, and I appreciate that. I'd like to just give a reminder as we get started on not a new school year, but a new calendar year. And that is your desire to improve education in Madison County. And that would include bringing up SOL scores, that sort of thing, to a level that as a county we can be proud of and appreciative of. But we've got to remember throughout the year in all that we do that the fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge. Without Him, without His being acknowledged, we're going to continue to be hurting. And so I just want to pray for you that we all have a good calendar year. Our Father, we do thank you for your love. We do thank you for all that your word teaches us. Father, I pray that this would be a good year, a year where you are honored, a year where you are not dishonored. I pray that we would see the truth of your word, that the fear of the Lord truly is the beginning of knowledge. And Father, I pray that you would be honored, that you would be seen as a keeper of your word. And we thank you for it. Bless the school board. Give them safety. Give them the wisdom they need as they lead. Ultimately, our young people. Be with the teachers, the administration. Lord, give them the wisdom they need. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Thank you.
Would anybody else like to address the board? Okey doke. We will go to the next item, number 12. Board members, do you guys have any comments?
I just want to say thank you to the pastor for your faithfulness in coming and praying for us and spreading out like a tent over our heads and your blessing. So thank you very much for your faithfulness and prayers.
I just want to welcome Ms. Sue Wood, our new board member. Thank you for getting all your signatures and showing up tonight, not knowing what you were getting yourself into. So we welcome you, and if you have any questions, let us know. Anybody else have anything? Okey doke. Our next agenda item is budget planning. Yay!
Yes, yay. All right, if you're going to go ahead and go to the next slide, that's a recap of where we've been so far. So then the next slide takes us to January, where we are now. Ms. Kropp and I just got back from the annual superintendent's and the finance officers annual conference, where we heard about the budget. Not much money flowing our way, but we'll see how it all ends up. We have tonight, just this brief overview tonight, and then, of course, we're gearing up for next Wednesday. Well, actually, before that, on Tuesday, I meet with the Superintendent's Advisory Council, so we'll be going over the staff requests for the budget. We talked about it this morning in our principals meeting as well, beginning to prioritize some of the things that we feel are needed moving forward. And then next Wednesday is our school board budget work session, which I think we'll hold here like we did last time at 5 p.m., where we'll really start going through. You guys will have the staff request, and we'll just start talking about where we're projecting right now our bottom line to be at the moment, or where it might be next Wednesday. Try our best to guess. So the real work starts now. Next slide. This is just the timeline that you guys have had, so you can kind of go through the next slide. Go to the next slide. And the next, and one more. There we go. So the governor's budget did come out in December, and currently for schools, the big ticket item is a 1% bonus to go into effect next school year, and then part of the biennium, a 2% raise for the school year following that. As you know, we're getting 2% this month. It was originally in the budget for 7%, then we got 5% at the beginning of the year. 2% starts this month in January. So the governor, we listened to his speech when he rolled out his budget, is including this 2% starting in January as part of FY25, and saying, hey, we're paying you early for that. So that's where that 2% is coming from, and then the 1% bonus. But we were told plenty of times at our conference that that's it's going to be a heavy debate, the General Assembly, as they work on their budget. And let's see, because as you know, the governor has made a huge proposal for tax cuts, which I included on the slide, but they anticipate a lot of kind of willing and dealing at that level. So we're not exactly sure where the final budget will land. Some projections that it'll land on a pay increase instead of the bonus, but that's kind of a wait and see for us. And we'll do our best to plan around it and get ready for it. Next slide. Really kept the goal simple this year, because in the end, this is what it's all about. We gotta compensate our employees better, especially our teachers here in Madison. Still think if we have any health insurance increases, our health insurance is quite high, so any increase can really have a huge impact on families, teachers that depend on that as far as what they can bring home, their pay if there's a huge increase. So we'd like to put that into our budget to cover that for them. And then, of course, the staff budget request coming up. As far as the bonus and raise for employees, still, I threw it out last time. I'd like to talk about it on Wednesday. We are hearing a lot. We have a lot of people that have been very loyal to the county, or teachers that have been here for a while. And, we get grants and things, incentives to bring in our newer employees, but there's people that have been with us for the long haul, and kind of what can we do for them? What, if anything, can we do to them? Something one time? Do we start increasing our scale a little differently at a certain number, 15 years, 20 years? I don't know exactly what that could look like, but it's something we need to talk about. And then when we look at student needs, because that is exactly why we're here, the admin team, along with teacher requests, have prioritized about 5 positions that people feel are very important moving forward, from a SPED position at the primary school, an additional first grade teacher, an IA for 3rd grade for next year, because there are needs with the current 2nd grade class that we feel would need an aid moving forward into 3rd grade. The math intervention position that we've lost, bringing that back and splitting it between Waverly and the primary, and then having a behavior intervention IAs, because right now that's paid through ESSER, and that's going to be gone. And behavior has changed since COVID, and we relied on the ESSER funding to help us with some of that behavior support. We do have that behavior specialist position. We were able to write that into the All-in Virginia funding, because it was covered in it, and we're able to hang on to that position for a couple more years because of that. But we've also hired some assistants that were part of ESSER and would not fit into the all-in funding that we need to talk about how they could fit in the budget. So when you start naming 5 positions from the get-go, we're already talking about a lot of money, but they're based on some needs that are new to us since COVID. So that's where we are. That's what we'll start thinking about that. that's what we'll talk a lot about next Wednesday.
Where is that meeting?
Here,
Right here?
here at 5 o'clock. Any questions? And we were going to project, we've gone back and forth with it, but we were thinking about projecting 10% in the budget right now for health insurance. Seems a safety net. We were at 9.9% last year. We're hoping it comes back at 0, but we need to prepare.
When do we find that out?
Usually toward the end of February.
February?
That's all.
Anybody have any questions? I'm just going to remind you guys, I won't be here the 17th.
Get elected and.
I missed the first one. Sorry. At least it's a work session. All right, the next agenda item, we have 2 items to approve. And that is, the first one is the approval of the 2024 VSBA Code of Conduct for school board members as presented. This is something that we've approved in the past. We approve every January, and Ms. Graham will send it around for us to sign after we approve it. Do I have any questions about that? All right, I will open the floor for that motion.
Motion to approve?
We have a motion to approve. Need a second?
I'll second.
Motion to approve and a second. I'm losing my words. Sorry. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any noes? All right, motion is approved. The next item on the agenda is the revisions to the policy IGAI, character education. We will be adopting this tonight if the board is willing. Do you want to say anything, Mr. Wingate?
Thank you. We talked about it last time, so I won't go over it in great detail, but from Ms. Wood and to kind of update on a couple things that we talked about last time. There's the character education draft policy. Not much has changed on it. All as before. One thing Mr. Sheets talked about was making sure that we highlighted that parents had the right to excuse their children from any particular things, certain things, not just the whole thing. So that is in there to allow them to do that now. So it's a good comment. I think everything else was that was the only really significant thing that was updated that we talked about. I did want to just respond a little bit. We got a letter. I think everybody got a letter, and just to be fair, to know that we've kind of thought about the things about the letter that Ms. Thompson sent about social emotional learning. Just want to highlight the fact that the state code does require a character education policy, which we have, and we're trying to improve with this thing. And the state code then also says that the law says that the Department of Education of Virginia has to have SEL standards, and then they did adopt those standards. And when they did that, the standards say. Local school boards may choose to adopt all or portions of the Virginia Social Emotional Learning Guidance Standards as part of their own local policies. So it's really local control is authorized, and so that's kind of what we've done with this policy. Just wanted to respond to your letter a little bit in that way. So I think it meets that requirement. It's been looked at by the legal folks who have said it meets those requirements, and so I think it's ready to be adopted. I also want to just say thank you to the committee who kind of put this together. It's been a long process. I think it's better because of that process. The initial draft I wrote is not nearly as good as this. I think, in my opinion, because of the work of the committee. So I want to thank the committee. I want to highlight kind of one thing, just to make sure everybody's understanding. The committee kind of said we didn't want to micromanage the selection of resources, and so in the draft, it says that when we use resources, when schools use resources, they'll be chosen by the supplementary material selection and adoption. So that means really it's on the leadership of the schools to select those things within the pretty detailed guidance that we've given you here. So to avoid divisive stuff, to make sure that it's transparent to parents, all the things we kind of talked about that's in this policy. And so it's not trying to micromanage the board. We're not going to pick a curriculum. The leadership of the schools will do that within the guidelines of the policy that we're doing. I think it's a more flexible, adaptive policy. It gives the school leadership the responsibility and right to do that. And then we obviously have the oversight thing, and it calls for Ms. Graham to update us every year on this and how things are going. And so I think it's a careful compromise, I think, and fair. And I think the committee has kind of bought into that. So I think, in my opinion, is the right kind of way to do that. And we will, on that committee, continue to provide some resources and kind of look at them and say, here's something you may want to think about. But ultimately, it's the leadership of the schools who will carry out the policy, which is, I think, the right thing, instead of us trying to micromanage and pick. So any questions or thoughts about it?
Okey-doke. We will move forward, and I will open the floor for the policy adoption of policy IGAI, character education.
Motion to adopt.
We have a motion to adopt. We need a second.
I second.
Motion to adopt and a second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No. Motion carries. Good work. Thank you for leading that. The next agenda item is reports from the school board members, the student representative, and anything that the superintendent has to add. So, Mr. Sheeds, would you like to go first?
Yeah, I'll go first. Not a lot going on other than we had a CIP meeting yesterday. And so we had talked in the past about the chiller at the Waverly, and it has arrived. They pulled the other one off the roof. They're prepping this one. So that to be taken care of here soon. The boilers that are cracked, Riddleberger's been in and out. This is in high school. Riddleberger's been in and out trying to limp them along until we can get them actually replaced. But good news is the insurance is going to help pay for those.
Nice.
Because Dr. Timmons had an engineer take a look, and they were poorly manufactured. So it's nothing that we've done, nothing the schools, the maintenance department, nothing has been done that's improper to cause them to fail. They just failed because they were junk. So insurance is going to step in and help. We don't know how much yet, but they are going to step in and help out. Dr. Timmons also talked about the field house had to facelift, much needed facelift. So if you get a chance to take a look at that, looks good. He is moving to a different platform for work orders. So when they, anyone at the school system needs something fixed, repaired, they can get this work order put in, then they can track to see, for instance, if there's a refrigerator that just seems to have multiple work orders. We know that's a problem unit, and we can look at getting rid of that. Where in the past, it hadn't really been, I don't know if it's been kept up at that detail before, but it's going to a new system that's actually going to cost less to keep these work orders going. So we're very appreciative of him looking into that. So that was good. And the next CIP meeting is March 6th. So I'll bring y'all some updates as we find things out.
Thank you. Mr. Wingate?
We had took a little break from the character education citizenship committee, took a little break. Did also want to, I think I forgot to do this last time, and I just wanted to say thanks for the schools for really highlighting the citizenship thing on the Veterans Day thing, and we're going to all the schools and what good programs there were, and as meaningful as a lot of people, some of the folks who are veterans in the community, it was really meaningful to them. So thank you to the schools for doing that. Also want to commend the schools, the leadership. I'm coaching my girls' rec league basketball team, and so we're always juggling for space. And just want to thank the schools for being so flexible and willing, to work with Tim Tryon. Obviously, the schools have priority, but allowing the rec folks to come in after hours, and it's really good. So there's nowhere else to go, so it's very good for the community. And so I love that kind of partnership is awesome. So thank you, Anna, for spearheading, letting them do that. It's really a benefit to everybody for sure. And our next citizenship and community thing will be next month, and that's all I have.
Thank you. I only have one thing. I found out today that the Virginia School Boards Association is having a networking forum. You guys should have gotten an email as well, but I just wanted to point out that it's close. It's in Culpeper. So this is our Central Region networking forum. It's at the Culpeper Technical Education Center on March the 12th at 5 o'clock. And so I think dinner's going to be provided, right? Yeah. Dinner's going to be provided, and some local folks are going to be speaking. So Germana's got someone there, and Elizabeth Hutchins from Culpeper County will be speaking. So anyway, I just found it interesting that it was going to be in Culpeper and it will be close, and maybe we can attend. And if we want to attend, we'll just let Ms. Graham or Liz know, and they can sign us up. So I just thought I'd share that. It should be in your email for you guys to look at and read if you want to go. Other than that, prep board meeting is the 24th. So we haven't had one yet this calendar year, and we will go through the same organization of that board meeting just like we did tonight. So that is, the 24th at 9 o'clock. So that's all I have. Thank you all for being here.
Well, I took a day from work and visited every single school in the county and spent the entire day doing so, like till the bell rang at the last building. Started at Mr. Corner's building, where I would say that his team that he's built there is tremendous, because all of them want to make sure that they stay there, and they're trying to make sure he does not retire at any point in the near future. But I would also say that he's cheating, because he kind of has a stacked deck over there. They were so inviting, so welcoming. I got to see the beginning of the world market that was going on, and he was trying to break it down to me. I still didn't get an invite to come back on that, but that's okay, to be a part of that, but that's all right. And spent some time at the middle school, where I got to see some old colleagues, but also got a chance to talk to an entire team of individuals from the 6th grade for a long period of time. And then as I made my way through to the middle school area into the high school, I got here just in time for all the lunch shifts and a lot of class breaking. I probably spent the most amount of time in this building, because I spent the least amount of time in this building since we graduated. And I mean, just a fair statement. And I was impressed. Being a high school teacher and seeing what happens in typical high school hallways in my particular field, and I'm not trying to compare a larger building to a smaller building, but I was very impressed with where our students conducted themselves and how Ms. Wyndham was visible in the hallway as Mr. Kubricki and Mr. Tryon at the exact same times, which I also ran into Ms. Graham at the same point, and I think that we hit one of the busiest points of the day where we were having our discussion in the front hallway, and I didn't hear any foul language, which is something that I would say is rare at the high school level, because they just tend to spurt things out at most times. And that's saying it doesn't happen, but where I was at and the classrooms I visited, every classroom I went in, and I said, hey, what are you guys working on? Kids invited me over to see what they were doing, and that was pretty cool. And I was in one of the science classrooms where I had a former colleague, didn't know she was here. I was upstairs in one of the Spanish classrooms, got to see Mr. Helmick, where Ms. Kropp was there. We had a little discussion there about some things as far as athletically, and got to go through the gym a couple times. But it was a good environment to see, and the teachers were very inviting, very welcoming. A lot of them didn't know who I was, which is awesome. That was the best part. They were just thinking I was a visitor in the school, and that didn't matter. And in fact, I had like 5 stickers from the other schools on me, so I thought it'd be kind of just ironic to look kind of goofy. But man, we're doing some good stuff. And the only thing I got into to kind of promote to our community is this. I didn't have any teacher or any team or any person in any building talk to me about money, health insurance, pay, but they did talk about facility. They talked about people. and being able to get more people in buildings and getting teacher positions filled. And to me, that was one of the most unselfish things, because a lot of times they talk about, well, hey, I'm looking to go to Fairfax, or at least where I teach, you hear that everybody's looking to go to other bigger counties. They weren't. They just want to see more help and more people to kind of take that load off, because even though some of the numbers might average out and see certain things, when you have smaller numbers in a classroom, it makes a bigger difference for the students to learn. And it was a great day. I think it was December 13th, actually, was the day I came in, to be more precise on it, if that's not mistaken. Yeah, because I was late to swearing in. Just being honest, just transparent, that's the way it was. But it's true. But we have some amazing teachers in our building, and they were all so adamant about showing me what they were doing in their classrooms and being so inviting. It was great. And then when I got to the Waverly Owl, where my son's kids are, where son's friends are, it was a little bit different, because I think I got more hugs than possible in a given day, because they all know, oh, Mr. Martz, and it was all over. But to see Ms. Ledane going from one building to the next and being involved and getting to go through some of the art classrooms, and then the kids were so excited to show us what they were doing, and it was a great blessing. I will probably make another impromptu pop in at some point without it being scheduled, just to let them know, just because it's kind of cool to see the teachable moments occur. And other than that, spent some time with Mr. Timmons about possible health issues with the weight room situation, which I sent some drawings in to help out with that, with my expertise. But other than that, some great stuff going on. I think we're moving forward in the right direction.
Talk about loyalty with Miss Ledane.
Oh my gosh.
Miss Ledane taught me. So, like, I'm almost 50 years old. Like, that's a long time.
Almost. You're younger than me. Almost. Easy.
Almost. So, that is a loyal employee, for sure.
Thank you for having me.
Not really, no. Only because of winter break. There hasn't been too much going on other than games, but I wasn't able to go because I was on a trip or my car was in the shop, so I couldn't go. So I don't have anything unless y'all have any questions about anything. I don't have anything to.
Understood, yeah. December's hard.
Yep.